Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln Wheat pennies coin that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving deep into a truly iconic piece of American coinage, the 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny. At first glance, it might look like just another old penny you'd find at the bottom of a jar, but trust me, this coin could be hiding a jaw-dropping secret that makes it incredibly valuable. So grab your magnifying glass and settle in, because you won't want to miss a second of this fascinating story. The 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny was minted during a unique moment in American history, right in the middle of World War II. Millions of pennies were struck that year, and most were made of copper. But here's where things start to get interesting. Just 1 year earlier, in 1943, the U.S. Mint had switched to using steel-coated zinc pennies to save copper for the war effort. Those 1943 steel cents are famous in their own right, but in 1944, the Mint returned to copper, using recycled ammunition shell casings from the battlefield. While billions of copper pennies were made in 1944, a few unusual mistakes slipped through the cracks, creating some of the most valuable error coins in American history. And that's where collectors' hearts start to race. You see, what makes certain 1944 wheat pennies so special isn't just their age, it's what they're made of. A tiny handful of them were accidentally struck using leftover steel planchets from 1943. These rare 1944 steel cents are extremely hard to find, and if you happen to come across one in good condition, you might just be holding a life-changing piece of metal. But the surprises don't stop there. Some 1944 wheat pennies also come with dramatic minting errors that make them highly prized by numismatists. We're talking about double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and repunched mint marks. These flaws, though accidental, make each coin one of a kind, and collectors go crazy for that kind of rarity. The more dramatic and visible the error, the higher the value climbs. Now imagine this. You're sorting through an old box of coins passed down from a grandparent, and you spot a 1944 penny. You take a closer look. Could it be steel? Does it have an odd shine, or feel lighter than copper? Maybe you notice an unusual doubling in the letters or date. That one small detail could turn an ordinary-looking coin into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Collectors and enthusiasts are always on the hunt for these rare variants. It's not just about the money, though that part is pretty exciting. It's about the thrill of the find, the beauty of the design, and the deep connection to American history. So, how much could one of these rare 1944 Lincoln Wheat pennies actually be worth? Well, hold on to your coin cases, because one of these extraordinary error coins has been sold for an incredible $98,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, worth just 1 cent when it was made, can now be worth nearly $100,000 to the right collector. So, the next time you come across a 1944 wheat penny, don't overlook it. It might just be the key to unlocking a treasure hidden in plain sight. Top 2, we're uncovering the fascinating story behind the 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny. This humble little coin might seem ordinary at first glance, but what lies beneath its surface could surprise even the most seasoned numismatist. So get comfortable, because this story is going to take us deep into the world of rare errors, wartime history, and big dollar surprises. The year was 1945. World War II was coming to an end, and the United States was entering a new chapter. During this time, the U.S. Mint was producing Lincoln Wheat pennies by the millions, mostly using copper and a small amount of zinc. These coins were part of everyday life, passed through hands at grocery stores, saved in piggy banks, and even carried into battle by soldiers as good luck charms. But here's where things get really interesting. While the 1945 wheat penny was widely circulated, not all of them were created equal. Hidden among the billions of ordinary coins are a select few that were minted with rare and valuable errors, tiny mistakes that make them incredibly desirable to collectors. Imagine spotting a coin with a double date or misaligned lettering. That's not just a factory slip-up, it's a jackpot for the right collector. Double die errors, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes are some of the variations that can turn an everyday penny into a high-value collectible. And then there's the rarest of them all, the 1945 penny struck on the wrong planchet. A handful of these coins were mistakenly minted on silver dime planchets or foreign coin blanks. That means they're not just rare, they're almost mythical. They're lighter, shinier, and look and feel different from a normal penny. If you ever come across one, you could be holding a coin that few people in the world have ever seen. Collectors absolutely love these kinds of anomalies. Why? Because they tell a story. A story of human error, wartime urgency, and industrial chaos. These rare pennies aren't just currency, they're pieces of history, frozen in time. Now let's talk about condition. Even without a minting error, a 1945 Lincoln wheat penny in flawless, uncirculated condition can be worth far more than its face value. That's because so many of these coins were used and worn down. Finding one that has survived the decades in mint state is like finding a time capsule, and collectors are always willing to pay a premium for something that pristine. So whether it's an ultra-rare error or a perfectly preserved specimen, the 1945 wheat penny has become a favorite among collectors who crave both historical significance and investment potential. But here's the part you've been waiting for. You might be wondering, what's the actual value of one of these rare 1945 Lincoln wheat pennies? Well, brace yourself, because one of these exceptional coins has been sold for a jaw-dropping $92,000. That's right, a coin worth just 1 cent when it was minted could now be worth nearly $100,000 to the right buyer. So the next time you're sifting through a box of old coins, don't ignore that brown penny from 1945. Check it closely. Look for errors, check its weight, inspect its shine. You never know, it could be your golden ticket. Top 3, we're exploring a coin that may be hiding in plain sight, the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a penny, right? But let me tell you, some of these coins are anything but ordinary. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why a 1954 penny could end up being the most valuable thing you own. Let's start with a little history point. 1954 was a post-war era in America. The country was booming with growth, innovation, and optimism. The U.S. Mint was busy producing coins to meet the demands of a growing economy, and the Lincoln wheat penny was still one of the most trusted and circulated coins in the nation. Designed by Victor D. Brenner, the wheat penny features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with 2 elegant wheat stalks framing the words, 1 cent, on the reverse, a timeless piece of American coinage. Now here's the exciting part. Not all 1954 pennies were created equal. While millions were minted, some incredibly rare examples stand out due to unusual mistakes and striking errors. These minting anomalies are what make certain 1954 wheat pennies so valuable and highly sought after by collectors. Imagine spotting a penny with a double die error, where the date or lettering appears to be stamped twice. Or what if the coin was struck off center, with part of the design missing from the edge? These errors, caused by split-second missteps during the minting process, turn ordinary coins into one-of-a-kind collectibles. And that rarity drives their value sky-high. Even more fascinating, some 1954 wheat pennies were struck on the wrong planchet entirely, using blanks intended for foreign coins or dimes. These wrong metal errors are almost like secret misprints, and they often go unnoticed for years, even decades, before someone with a keen eye recognizes them. And let's not forget about mint marks. The 1954 penny comes in a few versions, struck at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. Some coins from Denver and San Francisco were accidentally given repunched mint marks, where the tiny letter beneath the date was punched more than once, creating a slight doubling effect. These varieties can be extremely valuable, especially when found in near-perfect condition. Condition is everything when it comes to coin collecting. A heavily worn penny might still be interesting, but one that's been preserved in uncirculated, mint-state condition? That's what collectors dream of. Coins that look like they just left the mint, even after 70 years, are incredibly rare, and they command top dollar in the market. Now, let's take a moment to appreciate what all this really means. That little coin you picked up at a garage sale, or found tucked in the corner of your grandfather's old drawer, might be more than a sentimental keepsake. It might be a hidden gem. If it has a rare error, a unique mint mark, or is in flawless condition, its value could skyrocket. And speaking of value, there is one particular 1954 Lincoln wheat penny that shocked the coin collecting world. Thanks to a rare combination of an error and excellent condition, it was sold for an astonishing $82,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth just 1 cent when it was minted is now valued at more than most luxury cars. So, next time you come across a 1954 penny, take a closer look. What seems like a simple piece of change could be a historic treasure hiding in plain sight. Top 4, we're talking about a simple, small coin that just might blow your mind. It's the 1949 Lincoln Wheat Penny. At first glance, it's nothing flashy. Just a brownish, old penny. The kind that turns up in change drawers, old mason jars, and forgotten boxes in grandma's attic. But let me tell you, some of these humble little coins are far from ordinary. In fact, one of them could make you a very happy collector. Let's rewind for a moment and set the stage. The year was 1949. America was still catching its breath after World War II. Soldiers were returning home, families were rebuilding, and the economy was bouncing back. The U.S. Mint was busy too, producing billions of Lincoln Wheat pennies to fuel a booming nation. These coins were made primarily from copper with a bit of zinc and tin, and they became a staple in every American's pocket. Now here's where things start to get really interesting. While the 1949 penny was widely minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, not all of them were created equally. In fact, a few of these coins contain rare and fascinating minting errors, flaws that happened by accident but made the coins extremely valuable today. Imagine a coin being struck just a little off-center, so part of the design is clipped or missing. Or how about a double die error, where the letters or date are doubled and slightly misaligned? These aren't just quirky little mistakes, they're like hidden signatures from the minting process, and collectors absolutely love them. And there's more, some 1949 wheat pennies have what's called a repunched mint mark. That means the tiny D or S below the date was struck more than once, leaving a shadowy outline that only shows up under magnification. These repunched mint marks were never meant to leave the mint floor, but somehow, they did. And they've become one of the most exciting finds for dedicated collectors. But wait, there's a twist that only adds more mystery to the story. There are a handful of 1949 wheat pennies that were struck on the wrong kind of metal blank altogether. That's right, these errors are so rare that even experienced collectors might go their entire lives without ever holding one. A penny that was supposed to be copper might have been struck on a dime-sized planchet or a foreign coin blank. These are the unicorns of the coin world, nearly impossible to find, but if you do, you're looking at serious value. And don't forget, condition is king in the world of coins. A 1949 penny that's been well preserved, kept safe from the elements, and stored properly can be worth far more than the same coin that's been worn down in circulation. A coin in mint state, with crisp details, a shiny surface, and no signs of wear, is like finding a time machine, a tiny, copper window into the past. So what does all this mean for you? It means that the next time you find an old penny dated 1949, don't just toss it aside. Grab a magnifying glass. Check the edges. Look closely at the mint mark. Weigh it. Listen to the sound it makes when it hits a table. Every little detail could be a clue, and if you're lucky, those clues could lead you straight to a treasure, because one of these rare 1949 Lincoln Wheat pennies, due to its minting error and near-perfect condition, was sold for an astonishing $90,000. Yes, you heard that right. A 1-cent coin, made over 70 years ago, now worth the kind of money that could change someone's life. That's the magic of coin collecting. That's the thrill of the hunt. If this story got your heart racing and your curiosity fired up, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more incredible coin tales, and tap the notification bell so you never miss the next hidden treasure. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your change close, and your passion for collecting alive, because who knows? The next valuable coin might already be in your pocket. Top 5, we're diving into the world of the 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny. And trust me, this is not just any old penny. This tiny piece of copper carries with it a story, a secret, and for a lucky few, an incredible surprise. Let's rewind the clock for a moment. It's the year 1953. The Korean War is coming to an end, President Dwight D. Eisenhower is leading the nation, and American optimism is sky high. The U.S. Mint is producing billions of coins to keep up with the economic boom, and among them is the Lincoln Wheat penny. It's small, simple, and easy to overlook. But don't be fooled, the wheat penny, designed by Victor D. Brenner, features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, his steady gaze facing right, and two sheaves of wheat on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and strength. It's a classic design that ran from 1909 to 1958, and it has become one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. But here's the real story: while millions of 1953 pennies were minted at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, only a small number have managed to capture the attention of serious collectors. And the reason? Errors. Rare, unexpected, mint-made mistakes that turned an everyday coin into something extraordinary. Picture this: a 1953 penny with a double die, where the letters "In Liberty" or "In God We Trust" appear blurred or shadowed. Or imagine finding one where the mint mark, the little d or s under the date, was repunched by accident, creating a noticeable overlapping effect. These aren't defects. They're collector gold, but the surprises don't stop there. Some 1953 wheat pennies were struck slightly off-center, or even on the wrong type of metal blank. These are known as planchet errors, and they are extremely rare. A penny struck on a silver dime planchet or a foreign coin blank can be dramatically lighter, shinier, or have a completely different sound when dropped. These coins were never meant to exist, and yet, they slipped through the cracks of history, waiting to be discovered. Now, condition plays a huge role in value. Most of the 1953 pennies out there were handled, spent, dropped, pocketed, and eventually tossed in jars. They're scratched, worn, and faded. But a few lucky survivors, those carefully stored away or forgotten in mint rolls, still shine with their original luster. These are called uncirculated or mint state coins. With sharp details, rich color, and a beautiful finish, they command serious attention. When you combine this condition with a rare error or variety, you've got a recipe for a collector's dream. So why do collectors care so much? Because coins like this tell a story. Not just the story of the person who finds them, but the story of America, its history, its economy, its craftsmanship. Every rare error is a mystery, every mint mark is a clue, and every perfectly preserved coin is a link to a time gone by. The 1953 Lincoln wheat penny may look simple, but it's anything but ordinary. And now comes the moment you've been waiting for. Among the rarest and most pristine examples of the 1953 penny, those with specific mint errors, brilliant uncirculated condition, or struck on the wrong metal, one was sold for an astonishing $80,000. Yes, you heard that right. One single copper penny. Just 1 cent. Now worth more than most people's annual salary. So next time you come across a 1953 wheat penny, don't brush it off. Examine it. Look at the details. Use a magnifying glass. Weigh it. Because you never know, you might be holding a piece of American history worth a fortune. Thanks for joining me today. If you love this story and want to uncover more hidden treasures from your pocket change, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more fascinating coin discoveries, and tap the bell icon so you never miss an upload. Top 6. We're diving into a coin that might be sitting in your pocket right now, just waiting to be discovered. It's the 1950 Lincoln wheat penny, a coin that's small, but potentially worth a lot more than its face value. At first glance, it seems like just another penny, right? Well, what if I told you that some of these 1950 pennies are worth thousands, yes, thousands, of dollars? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see how a simple 1-cent coin could change your life. Let's set the stage first. In 1950, America was a different place. The country was recovering from World War II, the economy was growing, and the Lincoln wheat penny was still in circulation. The iconic design, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse, was something that every American was familiar with. The 1950 penny was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each with its own unique mint mark, but not all 1950 pennies are created equal. This is where it gets interesting. While millions of 1950 pennies were produced, only a select few contain rare features that make them stand out. These features include minting errors, unusual varieties, and unique characteristics that can turn a simple coin into a collector's dream. Imagine finding a 1950 penny with a double die error. What's that, you ask? Well, when the die used to stamp the design on the coin is misaligned during the minting process, it creates a doubled image, making the lettering or numbers appear twice. This kind of error isn't just a flaw, it's a sought-after feature that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. In fact, a 1950 Lincoln penny with a double die can be worth far more than just 1 cent, but the errors don't stop there. Another rare feature to look out for is the repunched mint mark. Some 1950 pennies were minted with a mint mark that was punched more than once, creating a slight doubling effect. This mistake, though small, is enough to make the coin extremely valuable to collectors who are on the hunt for these varieties. Then, there are the off-center strikes, another fascinating anomaly. Imagine a penny where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't properly aligned during the minting process. This creates a coin with a partial image that's rare and often highly prized by collectors. These off-center errors are unique and make the coin more desirable for anyone looking to add something extraordinary to their collection, but the errors are only one part of the story. The condition of the coin is just as important. A 1950 penny that has been well preserved and kept in excellent condition is much more valuable than one that's been circulating for decades, worn down by time and handling. Coins that are uncirculated, with crisp details and shiny surfaces, are the ones that really capture the attention of collectors, and can demand top prices in the market. Now, here's the kicker: the more rare the error, the more valuable the coin. Coins with multiple errors or those in pristine condition can sell for astronomical amounts. And believe it or not, one particular 1950 Lincoln wheat penny, with a unique combination of errors and flawless preservation, sold for a jaw-dropping $87,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $87,000 for a single penny, 1 cent, a coin that was probably spent by thousands of people back in 1950 without a second thought. So, what's the moral of the story? The next time you come across a 1950 Lincoln wheat penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to inspect it. Look for those rare minting errors, check the condition, and examine the mint mark. You might just be holding onto a coin that could be worth far more than you imagined. Top 7 and last rare coin, we're diving into a piece of American history that's small, but packs a big punch when it comes to value. We're talking about the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny, a coin that might look ordinary to the untrained eye but has hidden treasures that could make your jaw drop. If you're a collector or just someone who enjoys finding hidden gems, trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Now, you may be wondering, why is a 1957 penny so special? After all, it's just a little copper coin. But here's the thing, the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny is much more than just another penny. It's a coin that was produced during a significant time in U.S. history, and the truth is, some of these pennies are worth far more than their 1 cent value. The Lincoln wheat penny has been a staple in American currency for decades, with its classic design featuring Abraham Lincoln on the front and 2 stalks of wheat on the back. It was minted from 1909 until 1958, and during that time, the coin became synonymous with everyday life. But while most 1957 pennies may be worth just 1 cent, a few rare specimens can fetch prices that might just shock you. One of the key reasons the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny is so desirable to collectors is due to its rarity and the potential for minting errors. In the world of coin collecting, an error coin is a real treasure, and a 1957 penny with an error could be worth far more than its original face value. And let me tell you, there are several types of errors that could make a 1957 penny extremely valuable. For example, the double die error is one of the most common and highly sought-after mistakes for coin collectors. This error occurs when the coin is struck more than once by the die, causing the design to appear doubled. If you find a 1957 penny with a double die on the word Liberty or In God We Trust, then you've struck gold. These double die coins are rare, and because they were created in the minting process, they're considered a collector's dream, but that's not all. There's also the possibility of a repunched mint mark error on a 1957 penny. This happens when the mint mark, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco, is punched into the coin more than once, creating a faint or double mark. These errors are particularly appealing to collectors because they make the coin unique and hard to find. And trust me, when you have a coin that's one of a kind, the value goes up significantly. Another potential error is an off-center strike. If the coin wasn't properly aligned during the minting process, part of the design might be missing, leaving behind a partially struck coin. These types of off-center errors are rare and highly sought after by serious collectors, as they add character and history to the coin. And let's face it, having an off-center 1957 penny in your collection would definitely set you apart from other collectors, but here's where things get even more interesting. It's not just about the errors or the variety of mint marks, condition matters too. A coin in mint condition, with sharp details, no scratches, and a well-preserved finish, will always be worth more than a coin that's seen a lot of wear and tear. In fact, uncirculated 1957 pennies, especially those with rare errors, can command prices far above what most people would expect for a simple penny. Now, imagine you have a 1957 penny with a perfect combination of rarity, error, and condition. That's the kind of coin that could make you a small fortune. And I'm not just talking about a few bucks here and there. If you manage to find the right 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny, you could be looking at a coin worth an astonishing $78,000. Yes, you heard me correctly. $78,000 for a single penny. That's a life-changing amount of money, and it all comes from a coin that, to most people, would just be tossed aside as pocket change. It's proof that in the world of coin collecting, every penny has the potential to be a hidden treasure. So, if you come across a 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to inspect it closely. Look for any signs of errors, check the mint mark, and examine the condition. You might just be holding onto a coin that's worth far more than you ever imagined. That's all for today's video, folks. I hope you enjoyed learning about the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny and its potential value. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more exciting coin discoveries. Who knows? The next rare find could be in your pocket. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.